Hello, everyone, and
welcome back to 99 Episode 1, Episode 2.
I was thinking that too, because it's just doing the title for the first episode, Episode 1, Episode 1. There's going to be at least one episode like that in every single one of these.
I think it's more awkward with Episode 2.
A little bit. Anyway, hey, have we heard that rumor going around? Lunchtime. I don't think that's a rumor, that's more of a statement, really. I take a bite of my mediocre sandwich from the cafe and engage in mediocre small talk with Yoichi.
I imagine that, like, you know how they'll sometimes, depending on the cafeteria, they'll just have it, like, written up, like, what the meals are. I just imagine, like, mediocre sandwich.
It is literally mediocre sandwich.
Like, wait, why do I want that, then?
Maybe it's better than the alternative?
Oh, mediocre sandwich or terrible teriyaki. Yeah?
Oh, we're talking about the plushie, okay. We are not, never mind.
Of what? That really is the only thing you talk about, isn't it?
別に女の子だから食いついたんじゃないよ。
Liar.
嘘だけど。
See?
めちゃくちゃよくできてるらしいよ。今にも動き出しそうなんだってさ。
And then it gets ya.
Man, there goes the city again, wasting more money on dumb promotional crap.
なんで死が出てくんの？
The city manages the park, don't they? Can't you just see them making a statue of a girl from the anime, trying to milk a little more out of the investment?
そうじゃないっぽいよ。近くに学校あるじゃん。
Oh, yeah. Kuho?
そうそう、九宝女学院。そこの制服着てるんだってさ。
Oh my god, one of the students got petrified.
Huh.
昨日まではなくて、今朝ね、犬の散歩に公園行ったら座ってたって。
I actually think that might be it.
I'm going to laugh if that is the case.
Are people actually talking about this? The only one who even cares about it's you, right?
別にそんなに話題にはなってないね。女子が話してて、僕が詳しくって割って入った感じだね。
We don't know that much about him yet, but that does seem on track for his personality.
And so, why'd you bring up this statue that nobody cares about?
確認したくない？
Check what goods?
ちゃんとパンツまで作ってあるのか。
For some reason, I thought he was going a little bit more in depth than that. That's the appropriate reaction.
Nope.
かける、たまにそういう目するよね。心底呆れてる目だよ、それは。
I don't think he has layers, I think he has surface.
Yeah, you're probably right.
I should hope you've seen it before, seeing as I give you this look several times a day.
おかしいよ、かけるは。性欲ないの？ホモなの？
What the, you dumbass, don't shout stuff like that.
ホモじゃないなら見に行こうよ。すごいらしいから。ほんと生きた人間をそのまま石にしちゃったみたいらしいから。
I mean, how many people did Majin Buu turn into chocolate?
芸術品としてもきっと価値のあるものだって。見に行こうよ。ね、ね。
I think so. And then, not just chocolate, but other kinds of candy too.
Why are you so hell-bent on this? You can say it's all about art appreciation.
それ、私も言っていい？
What?
We're both so shocked to see her cut into our conversation that our eyes go wide. Even all the girls who were eating with Kujo until a moment ago are looking on in shock.
九条さんも見たいの？パンツ。
Yes, that's exactly what she's interested in.
Alright, that wouldn't have been my first guess. But you know, maybe,
well?
Alright. Knock it off.
ごめん、冗談。石像見に行くだけだよ。公園の。
昨日まではなかったんでしょ？
うん、そうみたい。
だとしたら早朝か深夜に運んだことになるでしょ？
ああ、そっか。そうだね。
それって変だなって。公園のモニュメントを市が作ったにしても、設置するならお昼とか迷惑にならない時間にしないかなって。
That is a good point. Unless it is blocking something significant, the city's probably not doing any renovation at night.
Interesting. Now that you mention it, it is kind of weird.
ね、不思議でしょ？
Yeah, no question about it.
かけるも興味出てきた？
Pains me to admit it, but yeah, I am. Basically, someone else must have put it there for their own reasons.
アートだよ、アート。反社会的な。シャッターにスプレーで落書きする、あれと同じノリだよ。
Art, huh?
なんだか気になっちゃって不思議だなって。
いいよ、僕は。かけるもいいよね。
Oh, that's a fine question considering I haven't agreed on going yet.
But we are now.
じゃあいいよ。九条さんと二人で行くよ。
Good point, you can't be trusted. Alright, I'll have to come along. It'll be the three of us.
そっちの二人は？
Yoichi invites Kujo's friends along as well. They glance his way and shake their heads, looking dubious.
おう、振られちゃった。
Well then, I guess it'll be the three of us going to inspect this so-called work of art.
ありがとう。じゃあ放課後に。
With a quick bow, Kujo returns to her seat.
びっくりした。僕、九条さんとちゃんと話したの初めてかも。ガンガン話しかけてくるタイプなんだね。
That does seem to be the trend based off of the last episode.
Apparently, we've been reading her all wrong. She might actually be surprisingly sociable.
仲良くなれそう。
Don't do anything stupid. If you do anything to Kujo, you can kiss your life in this town goodbye.
And maybe just your life goodbye, period.
そんな大げさな。あ、お父さんコロナに勤めてる。
If she gets hurt, heads are gonna roll.
靴でも舐めといた方がいいかな。
Why does that sound like something you'd be into?
You're the only one who'd enjoy that.
Yeah, okay, there it is.
ベロッベロに舐めてべちゃべちゃにしたい。苦いとなおよし。
There's something wrong with you.
I'm going back to my seat now. Are you for real?
I sigh and bite into my yakisoba sandwich.
It tastes mediocre.
It does. That was strange. She was oddly serious. While I could always chalk it up to that overwhelming sense of responsibility of hers, there's something bugging me. Well, it's probably no big deal.
ねえ、かける。
Yeah?
もし僕がやらかしたら、かけるも一緒に九条さんの靴舐めようね。
Could you maybe get off of that?
I ain't licking shit.
ごめんなさい。お待たせ。
Kujo arrives, leading her bike. Me, Yoichi, and Kujo. What an odd combination.
それじゃあ行こっか。
Yeah, whatever.
公園ってあっちの？
そうそう、10分もかからないくらいの。
あ、カバンよかったらカゴに。
いいの？ありがとう。
新見くんも。
I'll be fine. Looks pretty full already.
じゃあハンドルにかける？
かけるだけにハンドルにかける？
Haha, very funny.
ダジャレのつもりはなかったんだけど、ごめんなさい。
No need to apologize.
Oh, but that's her catchphrase.
真面目だな、九条さん。九条だけに。
九条だけに。
Don't take him seriously. This dimwit talks out of his butt 99% of the time.
失礼だな。10割だよ。
At least he's self-aware.
Now I'm imagining him like Ace Ventura. Case in point.
僕たちのノリについてこられなくて九条さんが引いてる。
Just you and your nonsense, actually.
Things are a little strange the whole way to the park. Yoichi natters? Okay. Yoichi natters on, and I respond half-heartedly. Kujo, in contrast, doesn't really speak. I don't think Yoichi is right about why she's gone quiet, though. She's not having trouble keeping up. Rather, she's deep in thought. Something has her on edge. Could it be that paranormal phenomenon we talked about yesterday? Or maybe she has a clue about the statue? Well, either way, we'll know soon enough.
あれかな?
That is a lamppost. Yoichi points as we reach the park.
That's a bench.
Yep.
Yikes. Not what I expected.
I don't see anything. That is 100% somebody who's been petrified.
100%. Yeah.
I mean, no doubt about that. A realistic statue is sitting on the bench.
Weirdest part, it petrified everything that she was touching, like her phone.
But not the bench.
Did not. Yeah, I was about to say, but did not petrify the bench, which she's also touching.
The bench is immune to petrification. We can use this.
That means that this monster is weak against wood.
A statue of a female student. And it is indeed wearing a familiar school uniform. The statue makes her look like a rather charming girl.
苦しそうな顔。
Yeah, definitely.
It's shockingly detailed, enough that even someone like me who knows nothing about art can tell. But in spite of that, there's no one else checking it out, presumably because of how damn spooky it is. The girl is seated on a bench with a smartphone in her hand. The pose makes it look like she's just here to take a quick break, but her face is anguished. The sight of a sweet-looking girl in apparent agony has probably been scaring off anybody curious enough to come check it out. I can almost feel the incredible terror she's experiencing.
考える人ならぬ苦しむ人みたいな。
Why would they put something like this in the park? Shouldn't they keep stuff like this in what do sculptors call their workplace? An atelier?
飾れない理由があるのかも。
師匠が俺を認めてくれないから世間に認めてもらうぜみたいな。
I was thinking more like it's cursed, but sure.
Even if their goal was to make waves, this is an outrageous amount of effort. Imagine how long the statue must have taken to make.
だよね。どうやって運んだんだろう。自分でここまで来たのかな。
Well, it does look like it could start moving at any moment.
っていうか、いい匂いしそう。胸とかも柔らかそう。
I'm pretty sure everything about her is rock solid.
Like my Pokemon. No touching.
ここまで来たらセクハラの限りよ。ってあれ？
What's wrong?
ここ変じゃない？
You mean other than the statue?
Other than you? Or, hey, I said no touching.
Ignoring my warning, Yoichi fusses with the statue. I can't believe he's going to cop a feel from a statue. What is this dude's deal?
ほら、見てよ。ここ。
あ、爪の部分。
ここだけ石じゃないよ。
生爪？
Hey, cut it all out with the spooky stuff.
でもそれっぽくない？本物の爪を貼り付けたみたい。
That makes it 100 times creepier.
Yeah. Putting real fingernails on such a lifelike statue, that's just messed up.
メッセージ性を感じますね。ここに本物の爪を使うことによって。
Whoa.
Yoichi brushes the nail and it falls right off. The statue's fingernail just fell off. Yoichi whispers after several seconds of silence. Ah, for crying out loud.
That's why I told you no touching.
どうしようどうしようどうしよう。やばいかな。やばいよね。怒られる。捕まる。僕捕まっちゃう。
How would I know, dude? Man, you sure screwed up this time.
どうしようどうしよう。ボンドでくっつけておけばいいよね。ごまかせるよね。
I'm honestly more concerned about the fact that as this conversation has been happening, the fingernail's been getting bloodier.
待って。
ダメかな。やっぱボンドじゃダメかな。
指から
ね。
血が。
Huh?
I look at the statue's finger. Oh. Are you freaking kidding me?
気のせいじゃない。本当に血が出てる。どうして？なんで？
石像が出血するなんて。
Hey, hold on. Just calm down. Isn't it just ink?
でも血っぽいよ。すごく血っぽいよ。
Maybe they just made something that looks like blood. Seriously, everybody needs to chill out. There's no way statues can bleed.
I tried to calm the others down while I pick up the fingernail that fell to the ground near the statue's feet. The underside is awfully raw looking. Almost like there's a portion of skin attached. The red drops on it look like dried blood, too. Is it the sculptor's fingernail? And the blood, too. Maybe they drew some of their own and put it in the statue? But that'd be insane. My thoughts stop upon hearing Kujo's murmur.
What was that?
ごめんなさい。
All I get in response is an apology. She doesn't even try answering the question. I hope her imagination isn't running wild, connecting this with the paranormal phenomenon from before.
ねえ、これどうしよう。どうする？逃げる？
This is a vicious prank. We can't just leave something like this here in the park.
警察に連絡した方がいいかも。
Oh, yeah, maybe. Actually, yeah, let's do that.
やだよ。怖いよ、警察。捕まっちゃうよ。
Pretty sure the bleeding statue is a bigger priority.
You're being paranoid. Kujo, do you have work today?
そうね。
Yoichi, you know 9-ball, right?
はい、知ってます。
Walk Kujo over there for me. I'll talk to the police.
了解っす。
でも。
You shouldn't let this nonsense make you late for work. It's fine. Just leave it to me.
ほら、九条さん。行きましょう。ここは男前のカケルに任せておけばいいから。
We're men in tights?
わかった。じゃあ。
Yeah, and when I'm done, I'll stop by the cafe and report.
じゃあ、僕はお茶飲みながら待ってるね。行こう、九条さん。
The two of them depart, Yoichi with the spring in his step and Kujo looking unconvinced. Well, nice to know that he will stand by us in a desperate situation. No, he will not. I let out a sigh. A combination of simple annoyance at the situation and first-time jitters about making a police report has got me nervous all around. I backed myself into a corner here by trying to show off in front of Kujo. A bloody fingernail. A statue that bleeds. Well, I can't just walk away from this whole thing. I set the fingernail on the statue and pull out my phone. My heart is pounding like mad as I slowly dial 110 on my phone and call the police. They let me off the hook sooner than I was dreading. Honestly, they looked totally put out, like they were just going through the motions and trying to get out of there. Eventually, I made my way to the cafe, arriving as the sun was setting. Slightly exhausted, I open the door and enter.
いらっしゃいませ。
Kujo calls out instantly, a practiced reaction. When she realizes it's me, however, a hint of concern touches her businesslike expression.
大丈夫だった。
All they did was ask for my school and contact info. Where's Yoichi?
He's hiding under the table in the corner.
あっちに窓際の席。
I track Kujo's eyes to discover Yoichi waving me down. I resettle my bag on my shoulder and head over to the table.
早かったね。
Yeah.
Once I set down my bag and take a seat, Kujo comes over with a glass of water.
ご注文はお決まりですか？
Sure. Let me get a cola, please.
かしこまりました。少々お待ちください。
She's like a different person at work. She's just very much in work mode.
Mm-hmm.
She gives a bow before going to the kitchen. We've talked a lot more now, but the distance between us really hasn't changed, I guess.
Unrelated
いいね
to...
バイト中の九条さん。コスプレとは違う可愛さがあるよね。
Unrelated to, like, everything. So, I was looking this game up on VNDB, because I actually hadn't before.
Okay.
And other than existing in a ton of different languages, which I may end up trying out actually, but I noticed that there is a unofficial patch, the Broski removal patch, which I'm assuming changes the translation of terms.
That is hilarious. That title.
I like that. It's hilarious and it's funny to me that people were just like, no, that is not how I want this translated.
Oh, come on. I love that.
I think it's hilarious.
That was great. I hope that's the entirety of the dialogue in episode 2. Just her acting like that.
Me too. Yeah, she's got a different vibe from when she's at school, that's for sure.
で、どうなった？僕逮捕される？
I told them I was the one who ripped the fingernail off.
'Twas I who set the house ablaze.
かける！君はなんていい男なんだ。結婚して！
Hell no. Anyway, explaining it was a pain in the ass.
僕たちも一緒にいたって言わなかったの？
Yeah, I told them that part. Said I was with my friends and you, but one had to go to work, so I stuck around.
追及されなかった？共犯は誰だって。
Wasn't Zenigata, and I'm not Lupin the Third.
Nope. Cops came, they looked like they didn't care. From their uniforms, I'm guessing they were both neighborhood beat cops.
結局ただのいたずらだったの？あれ。
Dunno. I will say, once they saw the fingernail and the blood, they looked a lot more serious. They asked for my name, a bunch of other stuff, and then they told me to scram. I spent longer waiting than talking to them.
ふーん。せっかく通報したのに、塩対応だね。
I mean, being all friendly wouldn't have helped me either, though I will say that something about the way they treated me like it was all my fault didn't sit right with me.
石像の制服ってさ、やっぱあの子のと一緒だよね。
Over where?
ほら
There's nobody else in here. What are you talking about? He jerks his chin a little, urging me to look behind me. Where did you come from? That sounds like Natsume. Sitting at a table near the entrance is a short-haired girl wearing a Kuho Girls Academy uniform, just like the statue. I watch as she calmly digs her spoon into her dessert and takes a bite.
Oh, you mean the parfait queen? What?
Is she another heiress or something like that? Okay.
Or maybe everybody loves her? I don't know.
I mean, maybe she's got a lot of layers.
はい
You mean like an onion?
Or, like a cake. Everybody loves cake.
She's a regular, so I see her pretty often, and whenever I do, she's always having a parfait. Hence the nickname.
Oh, that's stupid.
へえかわいいなあの子声かけてみよっかな
Uh-huh. Knock her dead.
ごめんそんな勇気ない
I figured as much.
お待たせしました。
She silently places the soda and a straw on the table. Normally this would be where Kujo would offer a bow and walk away, but instead she holds the tray to her chest and stands there for a moment.
新見くん、
Yeah?
リングってやってる？
Oh great, another one of these I gotta memorize.
Ling. Yeah, I have it on my phone.
よかったら、これ、私の ID。
She sets a scrap of paper next to my glass.
バイト終わった後にお話できないかな。警察とのやりとり、詳しく教えてもらいたくて。
Of course. Though there isn't much to talk about.
Fortunately, I can just copy the transcript from this game into the message.
それでもいいの。ちょっとでもいいから知りたくて。
When does your shift end?
今日は8時まで。
Okay then, I'll message you around 9.
ありがとう。お手数おかけします。
It's a theme.
909.
She gives me a deep bow by way of thanks and goes off to greet a customer who entered the cafe. Oh shit, I just got a girl's number.
見せてよ
Not a chance.
見せてよ
Hey, you know what happened the last time you touched something that belonged to a girl? It fell off and started bleeding.
Nope.
見せろ
Hell no, dude.
I carefully tuck the note away in my pocket so Yoichi can't steal it from me.
あくそ見せてよ僕も九条さんとリングでお話ししたい
Man, there's nothing like... Oh, okay, I get it. Man. There's nothing like a tasty beverage after getting a girl's digits.
How do you like them apples?
くっそーちくしょ
Ignoring Yoichi's bitter tears, I wet my whistle with some sweet, sweet cola.
The tears make my cola even better.
Oh, they're delicious. A hair clip that follows you around. A statue that bleeds. All this occult stuff is kinda freaky, but it's also helping Kujo and me grow closer, so I've got mixed feelings about the whole thing. Honestly, it's enough to make me have the idiotic thought, gee, I sure do hope something else happens. We're just completely ignoring the plushie that keeps turning up.
ねえかける
Hmm?
最初の2文字教えて1文字
Man, this is one tasty beverage.
くっそー
Uh-oh.
You're right, it is.
That's exactly what I was thinking because I was like, and it's very similar to how we get introduced to Natsume in Cafe Style.
It is. So I did look it up, by the way. I looked it up when he mentioned it the first time. It's not only her, but her delivery of the exasperated sigh
I love it.
is the exact same.
I love it.
Also, something I didn't realize, or I would have, or maybe I did, but I never pointed it out somehow in Olive Cafe Stella. In Riddle Joker, she was Mibu Chisaki, who is one of the two characters who has the cameo in the cafe.
Oh.
Her and Nanami have the cameo in the cafe, and I don't know why I never pointed that out.
Oh, that's awesome. Not that you didn't point it out, but that the cameo happened.
Yeah.
Nice.
Huh? What's up?
クイーンに睨まれた。
Oh, no surprise with the way you're shouting.
Also, you didn't turn to stone, so we know it wasn't her.
だってカケルが九条さんの ID 教えてくれないから。
You know, this beverage is so tasty, I should get another.
Just throws it to the ground. I kill some time with Yoichi, eat dinner while I'm at it, and when I'm done, I head back home.
Incidentally, this place is way nicer than mine.
I know, it is really nice. Very spacious.
Yeah.
I boot up my computer, waiting for the familiar startup sound.
待ってたのに何寄り道してんだよ、ニーヤのバカ!
Oh my god, it's the ghost of my sister. But am instead greeted by a delightful new recording. I immediately go into the settings and revert it. This virus I've picked up seems awfully persistent. Might be a good idea to change the locks on my place. I'm actually not joking. I begin looking up locksmiths online. One thing leads to another, and I end up surfing the web for a while. It's 5 till 9. I step away from my computer and fidget with my phone. Sending a message at exactly 9 would probably be coming on too strong, or at least be a little off-putting. Ugh, fretting about this is stressing me out. I end up sending the message at 9:03. Oh, you were close. Maybe Kujo has been waiting this whole time, since I get a reply right away. Thank you very much for the message. It's me, Kujo. It's a modest, reserved, and somewhat formal message. However, I'm antisocial and hardly have any friends who are girls. Nah, who am I trying to fool? I don't have a single one. At any rate, even a tepid conversation with a girl is a thing of joy for me.
Even if she's a force ghost.
It's better than the last one we heard. I'm grinning like an idiot. I must never let Sora or Yoichi see me like this. Trying to keep my enthusiasm in check, I do my level best to prepare a cool and composed reply. What did you want to talk about? I reply. Not even a minute later, Kujo zips back a reply. Interesting phrasing. How did the authorities react? The authorities? Yikes, talk about stuffy. It's one thing to be a little uptight in person, but even on a chat app? I try not to pay it any mind, refocusing myself and tell her the same thing I told Yoichi. I detoured by the park on the way back home, but the statue was no longer there. Did they collect it? Oh, that was you. Sorry.
That's good. You already took it.
I'm sorry, I got caught in the back and forth and I wasn't expecting it to turn into your line.
Me neither, actually.
I was like, oh, that just snuck in there. Okay, I type what I muttered as is and reply. It would appear so. Perhaps the police investigation will shed some light?
I'm not so sure. I mean, don't get me wrong, this is the kind of mischief that would terrify little kids, so I'm hoping they find the culprit. But...
Wait. You mean to tell me a statue with an actual fingernail and a bloody nub underneath would terrify little kids but not a full-grown adult? No. That's horrifying. I don't care who you are.
Yeah, actually, that is correct. Even I would just be like, nah.
Yeah, I'd just nope the fuck out of there. This is just a hypothesis, but it's possible that that statue was actually once a human being. That's what I said. She says it's just a hypothesis, but the message seems strangely confident, and my eyebrows go up. Slightly at a loss as to how I should answer her, I sit there with my fingers hovering over the screen. If that girl had once been an actual person... How could a person be turned into a stone statue?
Well, I've seen this one before. Basilisk.
Ah, that's what I was thinking. Or Medusa. Like, encasing them in cement? That'd make this some bizarro murder case. If that's what's going on, there'll be a huge uproar. It also means that Shiro Mitsugawa's name will get dragged through the mud yet again. That'd be kind of a bummer, to say the least.
You remember, like, 12 years ago, there were those amazing fake Cleveland tourism videos?
Oh, yeah.
That guy made. I imagine those, but for, like, this town.
Oh, no.
Come and get turned into statues. By the end, we may have a full song of how bad this town is.
Okay, we need to start writing this down now, so that by the last episode, we can have a fully formed song. Somebody in the comments, keep track of this.
Yeah, let's figure out how bad this town is by the very end of all these games.
Oh, yeah. But that's not the kind of tongue-in-cheek response Kujo is likely after. I guess she really is into all of that occult stuff, huh? I've never really bought into it much myself. I'm sorry, I was only joking. Perhaps sensing the bewilderment behind my hesitance to respond, Kujo follows up with that. A little flustered by her apology, I try to give a non-committal reply. You know, a lot of strange things have been going down lately. I try turning the conversation to the hair clip. But maybe she's realized that talking about the occult isn't going to help the conversation along, since she sends me back another curt message. I'm fine, thank you. We exchange some idle chit-chat until Kujo wishes me goodnight, signaling an end to our talk. I put my phone on sleep mode, set it next to my computer, and sprawl out on my bed, when something catches my eye. It's Scary Barry. Hi.
Actually, I'm more like a mouse.
That mysterious plushie. That reminds me, I never did check with Sora whether this was hers. I reach out and grab it by its, torso? Head? Anyway, I grab it and pull it over. It's oddly heavy. Unsettlingly warm, too. Maybe like the stone statue, this thing's insides are also alive. I try fiddling with the zipper running down the length of its face, but it doesn't budge. Just for decoration, huh?
This is dumb.
I mutter to myself, setting down the plushie and getting to my feet. We've had a huge earthquake. A broken sacred relic. A cursed hair clip. And now a human petrification.
You know, the game's keeping track of it for us.
Alright, well, that makes our job easier. I'm afraid to see what happens next.
Time for a bath, I think.
Scratching the back of my head, I make my way to the bath. And this is where the thing follows us. Or maybe not. I hate that alarm. I wake up a few seconds before my alarm and stop it as soon as it rings. I kick off my comforter and get up. Rubbing the sleep from my eyes, I stumble to the bathroom. After heeding nature's call, I brush my teeth and wash my face. I grab a jelly drink from the fridge and walk over to my PC. After it boots up, I begin checking the daily news sites while changing into my uniform.
Huh?
I grunt absent-mindedly. Missing girl discovered as statue. Okay. This headline doesn't make any sense. I continue reading the article. She was last seen on the night of the 18th at the cram school she attended. She never returned home, and late at night, as her parents grew increasingly concerned, they contacted the authorities. A citizen subsequently reported encountering an unusual statue in a local park, and the police investigation uncovered that the object in question was not in fact a statue at all. The girl's belongings were found inside the petrified bag, and data was recovered from her petrified cell phone's memory. Several other pivotal factors further confirmed the identity of the statue as the girl herself. How her skin was turned to stone is still unknown. I go through several news sites, checking the facts at each one, but they're all completely consistent.
You can't be serious.
This is just a hypothesis, but it's possible that the statue was once a human being. Kujo's message from the night before pops into my mind. It can't be. What she was afraid of turned out to be true? No, the truth is undeniable now. That was no statue. It was a person. The fingernail wasn't some prop set up by the sculptor for an elaborate prank. It was the girl's actual fingernail. The blood was real. And her skin was turned to stone. Which means under the stone was once flesh and warm blood. I check my timeline on Titter. Alright. A strange disease is turning people to stone. You can smell a whiff of perverse delight running through the posts among the fear and consternation. One theory claims it's a virus from outer space, and it's crazy how many people are actually standing up for that view. A handful of locals, or just people who know more about the town, are even drawing connections to that lousy anime. Alright.
It only affects people who saw the shitty anime.
It's like The Ring. Apparently there's a monster in it that turns people into stone. That faction is claiming that the earthquake awakened the monster, and that's what's responsible for turning the girl to stone. Until someone deals with the monster, this mystery disease isn't going away, or so they say. This is nuts. But I can't say with complete confidence that they're wrong, and that's frustrating. Someone was turned to stone. That's crazy in and of itself, and yet I saw it with my own eyes. The virus from outer space? The mysterious monster? Bizarre as they sound, one of them might even be right.
This is getting weird.
With a mutter, I dismiss the whole situation as someone else's problem and close my laptop.
That's how we know this protagonist is actually real life me.
Love it. No, I feel like that's a pretty good reaction. It's like, well, I don't know what to do about this, so I'm just going to go about my business. First, Kujo's paranormal phenomenon. Now a disease turning people to stone. And from the way Kujo's been acting, I'm starting to think there's some link between the two. What was it that Kujo said again? Something about a curse?
So, disease from outer space, or virus in general, or monster.
Okay.
But you know what it probably really is?
An outer space monster with a cold?
Good guess. Good guess.
What is it?
So I wonder if this town has put in any 5G towers recently.
Okay, no.
Okay,
We don't want to become one of those channels. I'll just put a disclaimer. We do not condone this conspiracy theory. 5G is fine. But that is funny.
I had you, though. She said that when the relic broke, it brought down disaster upon Shiramitsugawa. There's no way, right?
いいえ、その通り。正解よ。
Oh, good. The plushie is talking to us.
Yeah, right.
That's-
Good reaction.
Yeah. I hear an unfamiliar girl's voice prompting me to turn around so fast you can practically hear the whoosh. In fact, there was a sound cue. Nothing. No one is there. Of course no one is there. This is my apartment. I'm the only one who should be here.
Was that you, Sora? Is this some kind of trick? Hey!
Not the fun dots. No response. Am I imagining things? Hearing things? Or maybe I'm a victim of a paranormal phenomenon on my own?
Damn it, this is dumb. How stupid am I?
I try to shame myself into acting tougher after getting spooked by the voice. I gulp down my jelly drink while roughly scratching my head, like a man.
Ow, ow, ow.
Unable to completely shake off the feeling of dread, I quickly finish getting ready for the day while constantly checking over my shoulder. Then I make my way to school earlier than usual. Bye, creepy haunted apartment.
そろそろと思ったけれど、もう少し様子を見た方が良さそうね。
Well, at least the face didn't change this time. Nothing from class is sticking, even more so than usual. Yoichi started chattering away at me the moment I walked into the classroom. And Sora, not knowing that I left early, waited for me until she was almost late for school. So you can add guilt over that to my list of concerns. Yay! During lunch, the case of the petrified girl ends up being the talk of the school. Kujo looks more tense than usual too. Also, the more I remember it, the less confident I feel that the voice I heard was just my ears playing tricks on me. No way am I crazy enough to hear a voice so crystal clear like that. So then, what did I hear? And for that matter, what's the deal with that plushie that just appeared in my room one day? Is it some cursed toy? Or maybe an artifact spirit that brings good luck? I heave a brief sigh and collapse on my desk. Maybe I should try talking to Miss Naruse about it. Or maybe I could bring it up with Kujo, like, you know, I'm having a run-in with the paranormal too, or something. I bet it'd make a great conversation starter. That kind of wishful thinking is the only thing keeping me from being totally down in the dumps. God, I'm so pathetic. At the sound of the bell, we stand and bow. That's the last morning class. Maybe my mood will improve a little after I eat some lunch and fill my belly. Oh, crap.
かけるくん、ランチの時間よ。
Yoichi comes over to my desk with a convenience store bag in hand.
どうしたの？食べないの？
I am indeed hungry. Problem is I don't have a lunch.
I am not a robot, and so I do feel hunger.
え、買ってないの？
I forgot to pick something up this morning. I'll have to stop by the cafe.
Oh boy, mediocre sandwich again.
じゃあ僕も行こう。
You can start eating without me, you know?
一人で食べたくないし、ジュース買うから一緒に。なに
Out of nowhere, the fire alarm goes off, a shrill, blaring sound.
何？避難訓練？
Normally they'd have it announced beforehand, if so.
なんでそんな冷静なの？男前で濡れちゃうんだけど。
I'm totally freaking out, dude. You're the one acting like it's no big deal.
てかどうしよう。避難した方がいいの？去年あったよね。誰かがいたずらで押したこと。
Oh yeah. Anyway, we should probably just sit tight until Miss Naruse or someone comes too.
Incidentally, this is how the game ends. We actually just die in a fire.
Huh?
My phone vibrates, so I pull it out of my pocket and check it. Sora's calling me? She texts me constantly, but she hardly ever calls.
どったの？
My sister's calling me.
紹介して。
Get bent.
I cut Yoichi down to size before answering the call.
Yeah. Oh.
Sora's shriek pierces my ear and cuts me off mid-hello. I blink, suddenly serious. Sora only calls me Oni-chan when she really needs my help.
What's wrong?
Oh, shit.
They what? They set it on fire on purpose?
I find myself yelling that question. All eyes turn to me and the classroom works itself into a frenzy, but I can't be bothered to worry about that.
How the hell did that happen? Can you get out? What about the window? Damn it!
Every exit is sealed off? It's not a drill, so the fire engine should be coming any moment now.
Don't hang up, stay on the line. Which class is yours? Hang on, I'm coming.
I slip my phone into my pocket, leaving the call live.
なんかやばい雰囲気を感じたんだけど。
It's a real fire. The first floor is on fire.
どうすれば
I can't afford to stand around and deal with Yoichi's panicking. I dash out into the hall. What am I going to do? Even if I go to the first floor, what can I even do? I gotta fill a bucket with water. No. Kujo seems to have followed me for some reason. I really can't spare the time to talk to her.
My sister told me her classmate started it. I have no clue. Sorry, can we talk later?
I pull a fire extinguisher from its storage container and rush towards the stairs. Kujo follows.
It's dangerous. Wait in the classroom. My sister couldn't get away in time.
It's useless arguing with her, so we rush down the stairs. Oh, jeez.
What the hell?
The first floor is a sea of flames. But there's something strange about them. The windows, walls, and floor are burning up, yet I don't feel any heat. There's no smoke coming from the flames either. I can only tell that they're hot by moving up right next to them. There's something peculiar about the way the fire is burning, too. I don't know how to describe it, but it's like they're not burning any material. They're just there. In any case, it's a bizarre sight. A bunch of students are crowded together watching it from a distance.
This is no time to stand around gawking.
I'm chastising myself as well as the others. I'm no better than them right now. I pull out the pin on the extinguisher, point the nozzle at the blaze, and squeeze down on the lever. A white mist engulfs the area 10 feet in front. The can runs dry in a mere 10 or 15 seconds, and I reel at how pathetically short it lasted. However, what makes my blood run colder than that is...
No way. It didn't do anything?
The flames are still burning, unaffected. I finally understand why the students and teachers nearby are just standing there in confusion. The flames don't just look abnormal. Did someone spill some kind of chemical? I'm not going to resolve this by thinking about it. I'll try another extinguisher. If one full extinguisher isn't enough, then I'll use up as many as it takes. I walk toward the storage box, but Kujo grabs my arm.
Now what?
Dirt.
Like what?
I'm panicking so much that I snap at her. Kujo, on the other hand, is trying her best to be composed as she reasons with me.
What?
No, I don't partake.
She's like, it's okay. We crackheads have an immunity to fire. Whoa, hold on. What do you mean, leave this to you? What do you plan on doing?
火をつけた人を見つける。
And then what?
見つかったら多分消せる。私なら。
How do you know it was a him? I don't understand what she could possibly mean. But her firm gaze is reassuring. There's something in it that makes me want to believe her.
Do you really mean it?
確約はできないけど、やってみせる。
Sora!
I take out my phone and shout her name.
Is the arsonist still nearby?
いる。なんか奇声聞こえる。怖くて外出らんない。
Okay, just hold tight. Kujo, they're in Class D. They'll be the one groaning and shouting.
D 組ね。わかった。
I'll go first, Kujo. You're behind me.
でも、
No time to argue.
I take off my blazer and fan away the flames. Maybe I can't put them out, but they at least flicker to the side a moment. Still no smoke, and despite the sea of flames, there are a lot of safe areas. We can make it through.
Let's go. You know, this hallway just looked like the floor is lava game got out of control.
Well, it's not that far off, it sounds like. Keeping an eye out for patches of hallway that aren't ablaze, I dash through, carving a path by brushing the flames aside with my blazer, which is kind of ironic when you really think about it. Completely avoiding the flames. I couldn't avoid laughing on that one.
That was actually really funny.
Completely avoiding the flames proves difficult, and they occasionally lick at my arms and legs. I'm getting flashbacks to when I used to cook for myself. The pain is about as bad as when I accidentally touch a hot frying pan. However, neither my blazer nor any part of me that the flames touch actually catch fire. Admittedly, I've never seen a real fire on this scale, so I don't know exactly what it acts like, but this is definitely strange.
やめろ！やめろよ！
The onlookers go silent as an unsettling scream echoes through the hall. Oh, jeez. They're in the center of the cylindrical wall of flames. A boy is thrashing around, head and arms flailing unnaturally as he rages.
あの人ね。
Yeah, definitely. What now?
10メートルまで近づかないと。
30 feet? That's way too close.
分かってるけど、試したらそれが限界だったの。
You're not making any sense. Okay, you better tell me why you were doing all this later.
I brush more flames aside with my blazer as we close the distance.
俺の力が！
Oh hey, it's the vocal sample for the other characters in the menu screen.
Oh yeah.
Another scream. A pillar of fire erupts from the ceiling. The flames wreath around the student and grow as he cries out. I can't get any closer. Damn, the front of Class D's room looks like the gates of hell itself.
力が勝手に勝手に！
Shit! It's too hot. Damn it, what the hell's up with this guy?
やっぱりユーザーだ、あの人。
What the hell's a user?
後で話すから。ありがとう。やっと射程距離に入った。
What, are you gonna unleash your superpowers or something?
Yes.
その通り。
Okay.
Wait, what?
Kujo extends her left hand.
低劣な盗人の力。せめて世のため人のために。
She's muttering something under her breath. Don't tell me it's some sort of incantation. But maybe that's exactly what it is. A pattern? No. An emblem? What the hell is that? I don't know. A mysterious glowing blue symbol appears on the back of Kujo's hand.
Kujo, What is that?
後で話すから。どれ？あの人を凶器に走らせたのは。
Kujo hesitates, her glowing left hand still outstretched toward the male student. I don't have the foggiest idea what she's doing. I'm fully occupied waving my blazer around, pushing the flames aside so they don't engulf Kujo. Of course, between me wildly waving around my jacket and Kujo's light show, we're bound to draw attention no matter how crazy this guy is. And he turns our way.
なんだよ来るんじゃねえあっち行ってろ
Kujo!
The flames rush at us like a tsunami, and I instinctively shield Kujo from them. The flames pass over us and scatter to the floor and walls.
Yeah,
新見くん大丈夫？
I'm fine. Are you okay, Kujo?
ごめんなさい。ありがとう。大丈夫。
When he waved his arm, the flames came at us. It's like he's controlling them himself.
多分そうだと思う。
You're saying he had superpowers too?
今はそういう解釈でいい。
Boy, I was hoping you'd say I had the wrong idea.
逃げちゃう。射程の外に。
I look over my shoulder to see the guy stepping back, still screaming. From the look in his eye, he's totally lost it. And there's a glowing symbol on his face, just like the one on Kujo's hand.
So, superpowers. You said 30 feet, right?
ええ。
I'll hold him down. The rest is up to you.
新見くん。
I ignored her and charged headlong at him. This seems like a good plan. If this were a manga, I'd be shouting courageously while I do it. But instead, let's just say that if I weren't grinding my teeth together right now, I'd be crying like a little bitch from the pain. So I shout out my war cry instead. Yeah!
Wait, what is that?
The unnatural flames burn me everywhere. Intense pain assaults me, the sensation of being seared alive. And yet my clothes don't catch fire. Therefore, these flames have to be fakes. Meaning the pain is an illusion too.
こっちに来るな
A gout of flame fires at me. I plunge straight through it, grabbing onto the student. I pin him to the ground. My phone falls from my pocket and hits the floor. I hear Sora's voice coming from it. She can probably see me from the classroom. Hang on, Sora. Leave it to me. Or rather, leave it to her.
Kujo!
新見くん、あなたのこと尊敬する。
Thank you. With a line that would make me blush under ordinary circumstances, Kujo extends her left hand once more. The symbol on her hand is the same as that guy's. Wait, actually, the design is different. Is it some sort of counter to his power to control flame? Speaking of which,
離せよ
Hold still, you. Kujo, what's the holdup?
ごめんなさい。何かその人が身につけているものを。
What is it you need to find? And then what?
身につけているもの。多分アクセサリー。髪飾りみたいな。視界に入らないとダメなの。
I still don't get what the hell's going on, but...
やめろ
Shit, stop thrashing. Shut up and hold still.
giving into my anger, I slug the guy in the face. His head hits the floor and bounces off with a dull thud. And after a groan, he stops flailing around. Oh shit, did I kill him? I panic for an instant before the burning pain brings me back to what I need to do. Gotta find the jewelry. She said a hair clip? But a dude won't be wearing that. Where could it be? Damn it!
首からぶら下げているやつよ。銀の十字架。
Thank you, mysterious voice. That voice again. Now's not the time to worry about who it is.
Gotta trust him.
I flip the unconscious guy over onto his back. There it is, a silver cross. I grab it and yank the thin chain with all my might, hoisting it up.
Kujo, this is it.
ありがとう。お願い、成功して。
She closes her glowing left hand into a fist. I feel an odd discomfort for a split second. In the palm of my hand, it's like the thing that should be clenched in my fist disappeared.
できた。
The cross that was in my hand has appeared in Kujo's. What on earth?
すぐにその男から離れなさい。
That voice again? I instinctively follow its advice, jumping back and putting some distance between myself and the boy. And then it happens. He's becoming a Super Saiyan? He should still be unconscious, but the student's eyes pop open and he screams as he scratches at the symbol on his face. The flames near him. No. Every flame throughout the hallway suddenly quivers and goes flying straight at him. A hail of arrows and spears of fire. A tempest of flame. Kujo gasps. I wanted to cover her, but I couldn't get to her in time. I hit the deck as a vortex of flame engulfs the boy. I can only watch in horror. Well, he's not going to be in 9-9 episode 2.
I was literally about to say that.
A death cry. It fades off into the distance along with the flames. It's almost as if nothing ever happened. The flames vanish as quickly as bubbles bursting, leaving not a trace behind. What the hell was that?
新見くん。
Yeah.
I don't know why Kujo said my name, but I reply anyway, as I get up to examine the fallen student.
生きてるよね。
I don't think so.
Probably, yeah.
The boy's eyes are rolled back into his head, and he's foaming at the mouth.
Oh no! He's got rabies! Bang.
Oh no, he's a Krabby.
Cookie.
Cookie. He's Gary's Krabby. Wait, when did he learn Flamethrower?
Wait, how did he learn Flamethrower?
Weirder things have happened with Pokemon moves.
That is true. That is true.
He's curled up in the fetal position, his fists balled up near his chin, twitching and convulsing. The symbol on his cheek is gone. His clothes are fine. Not a burn on him. It seems the same goes for Kujo and myself. Despite running through that sea of fire, we're unscathed.
新見くん、上着と。
Kujo collects both the blazer and the cell phone I dropped earlier and hands them to me. I give her my thanks and take them. After what we went through, I have no choice but to admit it. He was using some superpower that let him control flames.
サイレンの音。
Oh, now you get here.
Huh, the fire engines are finally getting here, huh? We should get away from...
お姉ちゃん!
Yo!
I take a powerful shot to the gut. Sora glomps onto me, wrapping both arms around my waist. I look up to see all the trapped students starting to evacuate. Several of them are shaken up and crying, while others are silent, surveying the area with mouths agape in confusion. To them, the fire just vanished of its own accord.
怖かった。
Everything's okay now.
I set my hand on Sora's head and stroke her hair. Kujo watches us with a smile. This is kind of embarrassing.
ありがとう、新見くん。
I still have no idea what just happened. Nor do I know why you're thanking me. You'd better explain all of it to me later.
約束は守ります。
Her tone is a tad stiff. Kujo pulls her gaze away from us and turns around. I follow her stare as I try to calm Sora down. She's watching the evacuating students. The teachers are barking instructions. You know, they've got some nerve considering they just stood there as slack-jawed as everyone else. I absentmindedly chastise them to myself. A short time afterwards, every student in the school is ordered to assemble in the gymnasium to await further instructions. They make us all wait about 3 minutes. The principal comes out and, without attempting to explain the earlier incident, briefly announces that everyone is free to go home for the day, effectively dismissing us. Since I'm worried about Sora, I decide to walk her back to my folks' place. Or so I planned, at least. However, given Kujo and I had been witnessed plunging into the heart of that conflagration, there was no way that they were just going to let us leave without asking us a few questions first. I entrust Sora to a friend of hers who apparently lives nearby, and Kujo and I offer our explanations to the firefighters. We limit ourselves to only telling them about the unusual nature of the fire. Normally they would never buy our story, but with the additional evidence of videos provided by some of the onlookers, they're forced to accept it. It burned unnaturally, and it went out just as unnaturally, and the videos prove it. Things don't go as smoothly at our next questioning. We get a very welcome talking to from the head teacher of our grade. I can't believe how reckless that was. You two could have died in there. I get annoyed at the pointless lecture, which he of course notices, so naturally he starts chewing me out even worse. And after he finally winds down his sermon and lets us go, Miss Naruse comes out with us and says,
あんな風に怒ることないのにね。オロオロしてただけのくせに、あのハギ。
Thank you. That cheers me up a little. I like her.
Oh, I mentioned to you in private, but not. I didn't mention it in the video, obviously. Miss Naruse is True Feelings.
Oh yeah, that's right. Ow.
Mm-hmm.
Again, parquet.
Yeah, I did not recognize the voice at all.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think it's really funny that she's playing another character with kind of short, purplish hair.
Who's also like at least a person in somewhat authority.
Mm-hmm. Funny how that works.
Funny thing, she might not even be using that different of a voice. I just remember her villain voice.
It's a little bit different, especially when she's addressing the students, I've noticed. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't as obvious as the character that Natsume's voice actress does.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Man, we're finally out of there.
終わった後の方が大変だったかも。
Sounds right. We trudge through the front gates. The fire engine seems to have left. Those firefighters must have been awfully confused.
And our job here is done.
Well, that was fun. They rushed onto the scene only to find no traces of a fire, and on top of that, the students gave them a story that made no sense. Well, whatever. Their problem, not mine.
At any rate, we made it.
お疲れ様。今日はもう休むよね。
Yeah, I'm beat. Though I've got to get some grub first. I'm so hungry I might drop dead.
じゃあ一緒に食べない？約束したから。
I mean...
Oh, the talk, right? Hey, can wait until tomorrow. You must be tired yourself, Kujo.
うん、大丈夫。
Oh, okay. Want to go to 9 ball?
今の時間は多分混んでると思う。ランチタイムは主婦の人たちでいっぱいで。
I guess we should find somewhere else then. Oh, you brought a lunch for yourself, Kujo?
ええ。あ、でも、そうね。できれば人のいないところで話したいかも。
Why, you mean talking about your superpowers in a crowded place isn't a good idea?
No, we can probably manage that. I mean, when I'm thinking about somewhere we can sit down and eat without being bothered, and my place is the only place I can think of.
お邪魔しても大丈夫？
You'd be okay with that?
ご迷惑じゃなければ。
No, of course not. I just didn't think. Sure, let's do it.
うん。あ、荷物カゴに入れてね。
Put your things in the fucking basket. Thanks.
I was thinking the same thing.
I know.
I set my bag in Cujo's bike basket, and then we head off. I can't believe I'm bringing Cujo to my apartment. This is the first time I'll be having a girl over, other than Sora, but she doesn't count. I'm freaking out here.
She doesn't count yet.
Ah. Between our exhaustion and the obvious tension, our conversation grinds to a halt. Stewing in the awkwardness, we head towards my apartment. Yay! We pop into the convenience store on the way so I can buy myself a lunchbox, and then we at last reach my apartment. Well, as fascinating as this is, which it really is, and I am very invested at this point, because that was awesome.
Yeah.
We're going to have to call it for this episode, and we're going to have to save the exposition and explanation for whatever is going on for the next one. Boy, though, I'm eagerly awaiting to figure out what the heck is going on, though, because that was interesting.
Too.
I was like, when did this become Stephen King's Firestarter?
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was thinking that whole time. But it was good.
This has been really interesting.
I know.
This is not at all what I thought it would be, and it's really, really good.
No, it wasn't either. The first episode was very chill, very laid back, and it was a situation where it's like, okay, yeah, it does a really good job of establishing that this is sort of just a mundane town with mundane people, kind of not doing so great, and it did a good job introducing a lot of the characters, but boy, the stakes got raised real fast in this one. I love it.
Me too.
It's so good. And that action sequence was one of the best ones I've seen in any game that I've played.
Yeah, it's really good.
It was definitely up there. I am so excited to see more. Thank you all for that recommendation. This was a good choice.
Yes, thank you. I was telling Manastage, like when talking to him earlier, I'm shocked that this game like flew under my radar. Like I've never played it, which is rare for me because I play a lot of VNs.
Mm-hmm.
I've never watched anyone play it, which is rare because I watch people play VNs also.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never really read about it. So this is all new to me. It's really good.
But I'm really glad that we are going into it blind because it makes it so much stronger. It's just getting to witness this with really almost no context or no kind of preparation for what is in store.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good ride. I don't even have a good way to describe how much I'm enjoying this.
It's really good.
Well, thank you all so much for watching. We hope you've enjoyed this one, and we hope to see you in the next one, where we get deeper into this mystery. For now, we are the Bridge Boys, signing off.